Beautiful day, Patriots. How are ya? Let's talk about the timestamp and gap code. Today we're going to just go over the basics and get it all together, okay? What we do with the timestamp and gap code, we have a lot of problems with a lot of different areas. One of them is time zones. We don't care about time zones. We've already gone over that. The other is the time in between the tweets. We're going to try to tackle all kinds of different things right now real quick, okay? Here we go. So when there is a tweet that goes out at 12 o'clock on the Pacific Coast time stamp, or time zone, excuse me, the people in New York on the East Coast are going to see it at a different time because they're in a different time zone. Now if I tweet another tweet 1 hour later at 1 o'clock, New York's going to see a different time zone also, but they're going to see two things that are the same. One of them is they're both going to see the same minutes past the hour as mine. Their hour will be different, but the minutes will be the same. And also the time in between the tweets themselves is going to stay the same. And that's going to stay the same no matter where you're at in the world, no matter what time zone you're in. The time in between the tweet is always going to be the same of 1 hour. So that way we can do the timestamp and gap code. Now the thing that's funny about the gap is we've got two different things. We've got the distance, or excuse me, the difference between the tweet, which we just discussed, the 1 hour, that's the difference between it, but we need a code. And for whatever reason, the code happens to be -1. I should have called it the -1 code, but it's the gap code. So out of 1 hour, we've got 60 minutes. The difference between it is 60 minutes, but with the gap, -1, we have 59. So the difference is 1 hour, 1 hour, but the gap is 59 minutes. Therefore, we would go to Q drop 59. So let's go a little bit further down the line here. So my third tweet of the day is at 2:30. Now, from the time, my first time stamp of 12 o'clock and the second tweet at 2:30 has got a time difference of 2 hours and 30 minutes, correct? 2 hours, 30 minutes, and a gap of 2 hours and 29 minutes. So we would go to Q drop 239. Excuse me, I should have put that here. 239. You're going to do it any way you want. This is how I write my notes. This is at the beginning of the day. All the way to the end of the day is the first timestamp of the day, and I just keep writing them down. These are POTUS Trump's tweets. And then I can just do all my notes, because all the notes would be in numbers, and you can do it any way you want. But now what you do is you take your first time of the day, and the next tweet you go up and do that one. The next one, you go up, and you just continuously do that throughout the day, no matter how many tweets are done throughout the day. Okay, so let's now go into another part that gets really tricky, and that is finding out the actual time in between. If it was always on the hour, it would be very easy, wouldn't it? Now, somebody luckily has told me that if you go to Google and use the clock calculator, it also works. I do old school. Okay, let's get that Common Core out of our brains and thought process and go back to some common sense math. And let me show you how it works. It's a little bit tricky now because we've got a couple different things. We're adding up time on a clock, and what happens is we've got 60 minutes and the hours, 12 hours and 24. So let's watch how we do this. Let's take a time, once again, that's going to be really easy. We've already used the 1 o'clock, so let's just keep it even easier, or as easy. We're going to do 1 hour and 23 minutes. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Now let's say my next tweet is going to be at, because this is going to be all about numbers, it's easy. You're going to see how it's already pre-programmed like the clock is. Let's go, because we're after 44, especially 45s after 44. We're kind of mad right now, aren't we? That's what Q's all about. So, and that shows us also, again, a funny trick of how the mirror works. That is the code. So let's get back to this. So let's find out how we can find out the time difference between that. That can be a little bit tricky, I understand. So what we want to do, I don't know how you do it, this is how I do it. We'll do a complex one here in a minute, if we got time. So, I go 23 minutes past the hour, I count how many minutes are left to the next hour. So 23, I go, okay, 7 more minutes would get me to 1:30. And then 30 more minutes to 2 o'clock. So that's 37 minutes. It's 2 o'clock. And then I'll go 2, 3, 4. That's 2 hours and 45 minutes. So I'll go 2:45. Okay? So now we go into the math. Now this is where it gets a little bit tricky. So go ahead for right now, we'll put back in our hour markers. And the first one, we're going to go 12 minutes, right? Or excuse me, 5 plus 7 is 12. So 12, carry the 1. Now, we're in a 60 count. We don't have, well, let's just count up. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Should I put an 8 right here? Has anyone heard of 82 minutes past the hour? This is where it got tricky for a lot of people. So if you keep it together and remember that we're in a 60 count, for 60 minutes on a clock is 1 hour, not 100 minutes, like our brain wants us to do. So let's go back and try it again. So we've got the 5 plus 7 is 12, carry the 1. We got 4, 5, 6, there's my hour. I'm going to kind of do the opposite. I'm going to carry my 1 even before I go any further. We got 4, 5, 6, carried the 1 of the hour. What's left? 1, 2, 2. Put the 2 there. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. So there is a 3 hour and 22 minute difference, time difference between these two tweets of 1, 2, 3 and 4:45. But we're looking for the gap because that's where the message is at, is the gap. It's kind of the hidden spot. So what is the gap off of 3 hours and 22 minutes? It's going to be 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1. Now, I want to show you how that is. Now let's look at that. We've got a 1, 2, 3, and a 4:45, and the gap is a 3, 2, 1. It's the exact mirror of 1, 2, 3, 3, 2, 1. This thing is so mathematical. We already know it's mathematical. No, I'm not trying to do anything else but preach to the choir. But it's that tight. So when it's the timestamp and gap code, there's no theory. There is a formula. It works. There's over 1,000 examples on my Twitter page. Beautiful Day. Patriots United is the name of the channel. Come on over. We'll do all kinds of lessons. We keep doing lessons. I've got close to 80 lessons now on my YouTube channel. Patriots, I hope you have a good time. The thing that I learned the most, and once again, this was someone reminded me today. We were talking on Twitter. The thing that I learned the most, just like Q, what happens is it brings calmness. If you know what's going on and you already know what's happening, Q brought you a level of calmness where everybody else is going to be going nuts. Well, this timestamp and gap code, you can learn how to do it yourself. You'll do it at your own house. You'll never see me again 2 more times after you figure it out. You'll be doing it on at your own house, and the calmness is incredible. I'm not waiting to know what's going to happen. You're seeing it live. You're seeing it live happen. God bless President Trump. God bless America. God, all the glory to Jesus. Jesus allowed me to let this happen to myself. Amen. See you guys real soon.